Yo, what's up? It's Parks from Dream League. I'm doing the video today finally to show kind of people how we do mixing in my collective and how we make stuff sound as crunchy as it does, but still sound like mixed and good. So this is the preview of this beat. Okay. Elephant in the room. Obviously, I'm using a loop. Shut up. Obviously, I'm using a loop. I said I would be using a loop for this video before I recorded it in the last video because this song has a loop in it. This is a good example of it. But yeah, this is from Simon, like a guy in Discord. I just got it from. But I did the drums, obviously. So yeah, obviously this is a very distorted and like crunchy beat, but it still sounds like good. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, everybody's gonna think stuff sounds different. I think this sounds really good, but it's kind of at its limit for like mixing distortion with like what sounds good and what doesn't, but it's kind of right there. So drums alone sound like this. And I know there are like a million people out there who hear drums and like Osamason and like Ken Carson songs are like, oh my gosh, that like they say it sounds distorted, and then they'll hear like stuff like this and some like really grungy beats, and like they'll just be like really curious how people do it, because I know I definitely used to be before I like produced or anything. I wouldn't understand how people did it, because in something like this too, like with the drums, it I don't know, it's weird. Like if it sounds good still, like I don't know if you heard like those old like Lil Pump songs, like Boss and D-Rose, like when distorted 808s kind of became a thing like all those years back. It sounded different than this. It wasn't like the same kind of distortion. Like I'll hear people like Anthony Fantano, like music review, and they'll listen to like a song that sounds like that, and they'll say like, oh, the distortion's turned all the way up and it's all blown out. Like that's to make beats like this, there's a lot more than that. It's not like blown out really at all. It's like mixed. It's weird. There's like actual mixing that goes into it, because if you just turn the 808 all the way up, it's gonna like in a song, it just sounds terrible, and you can only hear the 808. You can't hear anything else. It's just like super blown out. I don't know how to describe it. You can't hear anything but the 808, because the 808's taking up the entire spectrum from high to low. But you have to like actually mix it to have it sound like this. So I'll just get into the mixing, I guess. This is kind of how a lot of Dream League beats sound. A lot of my beats sound like this too. Kind of everybody does this in our group. But I'm probably the first person on YouTube to show how to make anything like this in detail. People now have started like showing, like shout out to not like Musco. I don't think he does it really, but there's like smaller channels on YouTube that do like beat breakdowns for like new Osamason songs. That's the first time I've ever seen people show the mixing on like some of these new like psychotic songs and stuff, where people haven't really seen it before, on how to make beats sound like this. I mean, people can kind of say they want to like people can kind of say you put like a soft clipper on it, or you put like a bunch of different like filters and stuff on it to make it sound like this, but I'm probably the first person I've seen actually going to show you how to make something that sounds like this. So without any sort of mixing, I mean, the beat sounds somewhat like this. Yeah, obviously, like that's not like the beat doesn't sound like that. There's more stuff involved. So I'll show you each sample, I guess, with what goes into it. So I'll just start with the hi-hat in a second. I don't think I have anything on the hi-hat. No, I don't. Hi-hat's just playing. I'll show you the patterns for these too, because people ask about this kind of stuff. So the hi-hat's just super loud. That's why it sounds like that. The sample also is like pretty crushed sounding. There's a big part of it is having good samples that like sound, I guess, decent in the first place. That's like a huge part of it. You can tweak stuff to make it sound different, but you need good samples in the first place. Really crushed, pretty distorted, kind of typical Dream League like beat stuff. Clap. I have a soft clipper on the clap. Sounds weird, but like doesn't really sound much different, but like there's something pretty minuscule there. Snare. Nothing on the snare. Chant. Sometimes I put stuff on the chant, so I don't remember if there's anything on this. I have two so I have two fast distortion chants or distortion things on here. That makes it sound so it's more like white noise instead of like a chant where it like rises and kind of, it just sounds like it hits right away and it sounds more like white noise than anything. But you can use white noise in these beats too. I've done it before. I don't like to do it a whole lot, but you can use white noise. It does the same thing. Like if you were to put white noise in here instead of a chant, it would sound the same. So that's one way to do it. You can just spam fast distortions on this until it sounds like a white noise, until like the waveform is pretty much gone. But that's how you do that. Is that literally just the 808 left? This is like a sub. I mean, it's an 808, but it's like sub bass at the same time. So I just boosted the low end on this. I put a soft clipper on it, which is weird. I like never use soft clippers. If you see some like unks try to talk about making stuff like this, they'll just like talk about soft clippers and it will sound nothing like this if you're trying to make something that sounds like similar to like a Dream League beat, but like a soft clipper does basically nothing on it. Like if you put a soft clipper on the master, that's how you make like the baby type beats through like industry rap beats. It's not at all how you make something like this. But you can throw one on it. Just makes it, a soft clipper just makes it like louder. That's basically all it does. And it makes it so like the waveform kind of goes up faster, so it hits slightly harder. That's what people talk about when they say that. Low end boost. I boosted the low end on the actual like equalizer waveform part and the mid too. That's a big part of these beats. I'll just say it. It was like low end needs to be really high on the bass to like make it distort. Otherwise it doesn't. If you put the bass high end up a lot, then it sounds like those really like blown out like Smoke Perp Lil Pump beats from way back. That's kind of how you make that. For something like that, you just take the low end out of the 808 and put the high end way up, and it sounds like it literally sounds like an instrument at that point. It's like not even a lot of bass to it. It's just really loud, but it's the opposite for stuff like this. You just do the opposite of that. You just make the 808 like that, and then like individually, there isn't a lot on literally any of these whatsoever. It's all on the master. So like for a beat like this, it's not uncommon to see like all 10 master spots filled with like different things. That's pretty normal, honestly. I've seen other people do that too. But that's pretty standard for stuff like this. One thing I will say is if you're using like a sample or even if you're using other stuff, make it so you take the low end out, because this is the 808 is all going to be right here on like the sub, whatever you're using. And if you have the like, if you have the sample playing like with low end in it, it'll just make it sound terrible. Like then your beat's gonna sound super muddy. Like that's what a lot of people's problems are for beats like these. Why people usually can't make stuff like this is because their frequencies are just clashing in the low end and it sounds terrible and muddy. But you have to just take the low end out of everything. It's really not complicated. That's like the first thing you learn if you're actually like an industry producer. You can't have frequencies clashing. But same thing here. So yeah, basically everything that ties this together is all in this channel rack. Without this wouldn't sound anything like how it does. So limiter is your first thing. Put a limiter on it. Just turn the ceiling all the way up. Turn the gain all the way up. Just get that going. Put MoMA on it. MoMA adds, I guess I can do that. I can low-key just do this one at a time to show you what they sound like. Like graping your ears, and it's terrible. That's why you have to put these on to get rid of it. So crunchy. That's like the best way to describe it with MoMA. This should just level everything out. I put an EQ on it. Okay. So obviously everything sounds like super chopped until the second limiter. If you just have it like this, it's just going to sound super loud and terrible, but you need it to sound like super loud and terrible, and then put another limiter on it so it limits that, and that's kind of what gives you that like crush sound. I'm not calling it like distortion, because it is, but it's like this like crush sound that we kind of came up with, low-key just comes from like putting it way too loud, limiting it, and then limiting it, making it loud again, and then limiting it a second time, and that like levels everything. It's weird, but it does. That's like all there is to it, but it's not like, this stuff isn't really that intuitive, so you have to have someone like show you. That's kind of what I figured, but yeah, I mean, this is the full. This is on my YouTube. If you want to buy it, you can. This one isn't sold. Like, I just posted it, so it's on there, but yeah, that's kind of how you mix a beat like this. There's a lot that goes into it. You just have to make sure that your samples are good in the first place. All these are just from Misogi's kit from like a year or two ago. It's a good kit. I use a lot of my own sounds too, but this one's pretty solid. And yeah, just make sure your frequencies aren't really clashing a whole lot. But yeah, other than that, let me know if you want to see another breakdown for anything next. I kind of did everything anybody wanted, but yeah, just let me know if you need anything. Instagram is Park17, 4 S's at the end instead of 1 like normal. Yeah, I'll keep posting on here soon, so more beats are coming.